Saludos programas and welcome again. It is time for that Rampage cleanup. With you always is Adolfo the Nerdy Puerto Rican and
And I am Mikey, who is on a different planet right now because my head is congested. But let me tell you, Rampage was a lot of fun this week, and I'm happy to be here, Adolfo.
it was. So let's just jump right into it. And Mikey, was I watching last week's Rampage again, or did we start off with the Hardy Boys and Brothers A versus the remnants of the JAS again?
So listen, I'm I'm sick, so I'm on the cold medicine regimen. And so I literally thought I was rewatching last week's Rampage, and I thought I was having a fever dream. I'm like, didn't we get this match last week? And then
Right?
thankfully, I had my notebook to go back through. So I looked through my notes last week. I'm like, no, this is completely different because last week it was the Hardys and Best Friends the versus the non JAS squad, and I was just like,
Yeah.
never mind, this is different, but I mean, it was more of the same because
Yeah.
JAS
I
boys
literally
keep losing.
Yeah, I literally started and stopped Rampage twice because I was like, why am I watching last week's Rampage? What the hell? And the thing that actually let me realize that it was this week's Rampage was that the JAS crew was wearing black pants instead of white pants. So, um, but we had, the match itself was okay. To be honest, I felt like it was uh, a weaker match, one of the weakest matches that I've seen as of late. Matt Hardy was really good in it. I was actually really surprised as to how spry he was. Jeff Hardy, hard, hardly utilized. Ah. But yeah, he very very limited mat time for Jeff Hardy, and Brothers A. Again, he seemed like he took a lot of this match on, but for JAS, you had Daniel Garcia, who ended up getting the pin on Brothers A after doing some of that sweet dancing that everyone's waiting to see. And apparently, some people in the JS don't like that.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. Daddy Magic and Coolhead Ange, you're wrong because the dancing is the greatest thing Daniel Garcia has going for him, just as a little facet of his character. I love it. Don't take it away from him. But yeah, again, I, I was like, this match was a lot shorter than the one we got last week of them with this combination of people. This was a quick
Yeah, it
opener,
was.
which I was like,
Yeah.
okay, sure, fine, whatever. Um, but I was also surprised that the former JAS boys picked up a victory here after, they finally got one.
Yep.
But
They
after
finally
losing
got one.
so much.
Yeah. Yeah. And also interesting, it was Daniel Garcia that, like I said, Daniel Garcia did get the pin on Brother Zay. So I still, like I had said last week, I still feel that this is leading towards a Daniel Garcia splintering away from the JAS. Or the remnants of the JS. It's like the Imperial remnant in Star Wars. I mean, whatever. It's leftovers.
I mean, oh, for sure. I just hope Daniel Garcia doesn't go back to Chris Jericho because me and JVL yelled about this during the Dynamite review. I was like, no, because Chris Jericho and the JAS boys had a backstage segment. I'm like, no, you do not put them back together. Do not do this to me.
Yeah.
It was out of control.
Yeah. Yeah. So this went straight into our first interview. The wondrous Renee Paquette backstage was interviewing Penta, and the Bang Bang Club opted to come in and say some words. What'd you think, Mikey?
First and foremost, the Bullet Club Gold is always, all pun intended, they're gold. Like, they are the best heel faction right now in terms of making me laugh every week. Though Juice Robinson kind of got into some hot water this past week, which we discussed earlier in the week because of
Oh
that
yeah.
whole quarters incident. Oh, did
Oh
you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep, yep,
I was gonna
yep.
say, I was just
Yep,
like, especially what's
yep,
going on in the world. Okay, cool. So you're caught up, so I'm gonna explain it.
yep.
I love the fact that they, for some reason, like they try their best, and they. I what got me was the fact that they're talking about how cero miedo translates to zero fear, and then they make a joke out of it, saying it could also stand for zero belts, and I was just like, boys, I don't know if making Penta mad is the smartest decision on the planet, because
Yeah,
listen, listen, we know how hard Penta can go, so.
yeah.
But what I appreciated is because of this little interaction, we're getting a match that has never happened before in the professional wrestling world as it is now, because this literally sets up Penta versus Jay White on Dynamite, and I cannot
Yep,
be happier. I'm
yep.
so excited
And
for
you
that match.
and and you know that with the work ethic of both those wrestlers, that match is going to be a damn good match. So, uh, I might tune into Dynamite to see that myself. So we will see. We'll see. But so then this we cut to commercial, came back to the wondrous Renee Paquette again. This time she was interviewing the remnants of the Jericho Appreciation Squad. What do you think, Mikey?
Again, this is kind of this. Again, it felt like I was watching another rehash of last week, because we also had a backstage segment with these boys last week, and the tension was
Wait,
still
wait, wait,
there.
wait, 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 wait. You know what? Just squash it. Squash it. Squash it, Mikey. Squash it.
Well, while Adolfo decides to go, figure his stuff out in life, um,
No, I'm kidding. That was quite
no,
literally the segment. Was that?
that's exactly what it was. Daddy Magic and Daniel Garcia are still going at it, and I need them to make a decision: either have these two fight and have Daniel split off, or have them kiss and make up. Like, those are the only two options. Do not pull the here's the third true option like in most video games where there's the true ending. The true ending does not include going back to Chris Jericho. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. So we will see how that pans out. I don't think. I personally don't think, just really quick, that Chris Jericho is going to be coming back into the picture. Um, I wouldn't mind seeing Daniel Garcia breaking away from the Jericho Appreciation Society, but that's just me. But this did move us to our next match of the night, which was Jay Lethal versus Trent Beretta of the Best Friends. Um, Hang on one sec, Mike.
go.
So this brought us to our next match of the night, which was Jay Lethal versus Trent Beretta of the Best Friends, and it was all right. Again, not my most favorite. I do have to commend Double J Jeff Jarrett for his kicks that he was wearing. Had the old school look like the Air Jordans on, so that was really really cool. Um, I mean, both wrestlers worked well. It felt to me like the pacing was a little bit slow. What did you think, Mikey?
On paper, I was expecting this to be a little bit more, I guess, because I know Jay Lethal can really go and Trent Beretta can really go. But this match kind of, it didn't click with me in certain aspects. It's like, not to say that there was like any horrible decisions or horrible mistakes that happened in this match, but it was very paint by numbers. It's like, all right, we're gonna do this thing, which leads into this thing, and then yeah, it was okay. Like, I enjoyed it, but I was like, huh. By the end of it, I was like, I expected more. I guess that's kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah. My biggest surprise for this match was the fact that Jay Lethal got a clean win. Yeah, right. There was no guitar got exploded on anyone's heads. There was no chicanery by manager or anything. It was a clean win from Jay Lethal. So uh, Eddie Kingston, if you were watching, I hope you were
Right.
picking up what he was putting down.
I mean, Jay must have heard because Eddie did say last week on Rampage, it's just like, I want to make sure that I'm going to be facing the Jay Lethal I know, not this clown that's been hanging out with you guys. And it seems that he's slowly building himself up to gain credibility. Be like, I don't need these guys pulling in shenanigans because I know I can be Eddie. Which
Yep.
makes me, that was the aspect I actually really enjoyed. The fact that now we're seeing Jay Lethal go from being his comedy self to like, all right, I am serious now. Like, I want to get this title
Yeah.
shot against Eddie. So I need to prove to him and myself that I can do this. And
Yeah.
sure enough, he was able to do it tonight.
Yep. Yep. That was good. That was good. Also, didn't know Jay Lethal was from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Very interesting.
Right? I was like, I forgot about that.
Another another Jersey boy, as it were. But anyway, so this brought us to our next segment, which was Mike Santana, and he actually had a face to face with Ortiz, and I'm finally hyped about this match.
Yes.
That was. I don't know how much was fake and how much was real, but they really had an intense back and forth, face to face, and I'm here for it now. Yeah, I want to see this match.
Oh my goodness. I listen only because I know of their prior history as a tag team of Proud and Powerful from the TNA days to Impact to now in AEW. And I think so far everybody involved has done a great job to not let too much of the personal get involved in this feud. Obviously, they do hate each other's guts, but they're still being professional about it, where they're not out
Yeah,
here causing fights with each other backstage. Um, I'm excited. Again, I'm never going to complain when we get more Latino wrestlers in the spotlight, especially with how well these two are in the ring. And again, I hope they don't put this on a Rampage. Either put it on a Dynamite, put it on a Collision, or if you really, really want to, selfishly, put it on Full Gear. I would love to watch it at Full Gear because, you know, low key, I am going to be there in person. So,
yeah. Yeah. So hopefully it'll be somewhere that I can watch it because I am now vested in this and what's going on. Really quick, has this been crossing over to Dynamite as well? I know there's been a little bit of Collision crossover.
there's been more Collision crossover, but it really hasn't touched Dynamite yet. And if I'm
Okay.
being completely honest with it, I'm kind of glad it's contained in Rampage and Collision because Dynamite is. Yeah, Dynamite is that.
It's got a lot
Yeah.
going on. Dynamite has a lot going on. Fair.
There's a lot of questions. Orange Cassidy is now the new international champion again,
Again,
and Hikaru Shida is your three-time women's champion, which is cool. But
yep.
what was the point of Saraya winning the title? But we'll talk.
I mean,
We can
she held it for a bit, but
we'll talk off camera because
that's for another show. Yep.
yes, but we
um,
are talking about women because
I
next
was
up,
about to say because the next up, the perfect segue, we had Emi Sakura versus Sky Blue, or as I will call her now, the Dark Side Sky Blue, because there was no Sky Blue smile. There was no Sky Blue that peppy, fun Sky Blue that normally came out, and she had like dark tears
woo,
under her dark tear makeup under her eyes. Do we
oh,
think that a little spoopy Julia Hart magic is at work here?
listen, I am me and Adolfo are we share a lot of things in common. We're both Puerto Rican. We're both like big time wrestling fans, and we both love our spookiness in wrestling,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
literally. And
Yes.
I listen. First of all, Sky Blue's eye makeup coming out into this match during the ring was severe. Like it was so good. I loved it, and I love continuity. And what I loved about this match even more is we saw Sky Blue get more aggressive, and
Yep.
she was more not violent, but she was like, "Oh, I'm about to beat Emi Sakurai. I'm gonna beat the bricks off her." Because
Yeah.
Emi Sakura is no slouch either. Like she hits hard
No,
too,
she
and
was. Yeah, she was giving some big shots. Some big shots. It was a good. This was a good match. I did enjoy this match. And I actually felt as if they could have shaved some time off of the Jay Lethal Trent Beretta match and given it to Emmy and Sky Blue because it was very entertaining. Emmy Sakura, uh, we know is not a baby face, is more of a heel, and facing off against Dark Side Sky Blue. It was cool, and yeah, like you said, Sky Blue, like she hit that point, and she was like, I'm gonna whoop that ass." You know what I mean? And it was entertaining. It was a very entertaining story. Yeah, I'm all about the spookiness, man. I growing up, I was there when Taker was betwixt to Paul Bearer and to the urn. I was there with George the Animal Steel and the whole Macho Man
Where's
thing.
Lacey? Where's my daughter?
And
Hey, it's okay.
um,
She's fine. I thought
you
it's
know,
Emma's accident. I'm a surrogate. I'm carrying this baby for someone.
so I am all about this the spooky wrestling. I'm all about the Mr. Fuji when he used to cast his thing. I'm all about that. So definitely, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. All about it. Pause. Thank you. So yeah, so bring back the spooky wrestling. I'm all about it. What do you think, Mikey?
again, I love the continuity since getting sprayed in the face from Julia Hart's Black Mist. Sky Blue is taking more of the transformation, kind of like what how Julia did initially when she got sprayed by the mist. And I love that she's spreading that to other people. Willow's not as much being as affected, though she has gotten a little more aggressive, but Sky's appearance is definitely predominantly being changed throughout this whole thing. And again, bring back the spooky wrestling. Willow, Sky, and Julia in a little faction. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, or it would be also interesting if this maybe set up like a Sky Blue going to the House of Black type thing, and then we have a Willow Nightingale Sky Blue um, thing going on, uh, or Willow Nightingale Julie Hart going on because those matches were good. So, but yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Good storytelling on that one. Good storytelling. Uh, so then finally, we got to the main event, which was the Gates of Agony, the Mongol Embassy, versus the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta, my favorite wrestler. And it was a good match. It was actually a good main event match. I Do you think, Mikey, that we are seeing a Blackpool Combat Club face turn a little bit?
You know, that's an excellent question. I think they are leaning more face now, since the summer has ended officially. So I feel like the last month or so they've been leaning more towards face. I think maybe the correct term would, again, I still think they're more in between, so tweener, if you will. But they're
Yeah, 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 yeah,
definitely
yeah.
they're definitely leaning more face, which is interesting. um,
Yeah,
I hmm, I'm interested in it, but I'm also trying to figure out what's the next thing for BCC. Only because, I mean, granted that they are fighting the Gates of Agony and kind of somewhat involved with Mongol Embassy, and then they're just being placed in weird positions because I'm like, oh, so they're gonna feud with Swerve. Oh no, wait, Swerve and Hangman are still kind of going back even forth with it right
right.
now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe the Elite. Oh, no, wait, Kenny's doing his own thing. The Bucks are doing their own thing. It's really weird for BCC. And I mean, granted, this match was fun, it was fantastic. I just don't know what's next for them or where we put them because everybody else is kind of busy doing things. I mean, Danielson and Mr. Copeland are kind of dealing with Christian and Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus at the moment. Ricky Starks is popping his head in and out with Big Bill. Like, I just don't know what's next for them.
I like I had said last week, I feel that Mongol Embassy is a great foil to the Blackpool Combat Club. Thinking about it a little bit, and knowing that John Moxley is still not cleared to wrestle, I kind of feel like they're waiting for Mox to get back before they really kick off against the Mongol Embassy. Because trios match between those two is going to be incredible. I still do have my thoughts on Wheeler Yuta, that he is the third wheel of the Blackpool Combat Club. Here's the thing, though. Start of the match, he was really great, right? This is why I feel like he is the third wheel of the Blackpool Combat Club. Start of the match, he was really great and showcases his skill really well. And then all of a sudden, he was just a punching bag for a good 80 to 90% of the rest of the match. You had your thing where Claudio jumped in for, I don't even think he was on the mat for like 5 minutes before he went chasing Prince Nana, right? And albeit Wheeler got the pin, which is great. I just, in my personal unprofessional opinion, with all the great tag teams, your FTRs, your Bullet Club Golds, your Road Warriors, your Outsiders, right? Kicking it back old school, they took turns getting lumped up. They never had one that was just a punching bag and then the other one came in. They took turns getting lumped up. And it just, with Wheeler Yuta, I just constantly see him getting lumped up. And then, like, at the really crucial times, getting pinned, and I just, especially seeing how electrifying he was at the beginning of the match and at the end of the match, I feel like he deserves better.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Adolfo, because when Wheeler Yuta first joined BCC, because he was under the tutelage of Best Friends and Orange Cassidy and all them, and then he joined BCC, and I got excited because I loved him with Best Friends and all them, but I loved the more aggressiveness we got, and for like the first maybe 8 and 9 months, it was great. Like he was he was the ROH Pure champion. He had baller matches against Josh Woods and Daniel Garcia and Katsuyori Shibata. Like those were great. And then once he lost the title, it's kind of like it's the same thing. He's just been third wheeling it, and he's just been everywhere else and just getting the brakes beat off of him. And I was just like, all right then. And it sucks because Wheeler has so much potential. I still think he needs a little more work on the mic, but that's with anybody. I feel like we're not utilizing people and factions correctly right now. They're kind of just lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. But that was it. It was, to me, it was a fun Rampage, but it was a very standard Rampage. On the empanada scale, I would give it, out of 5 empanadas, I would give it 3 American cheese empanadas. They're good, and they make me feel all warm in my tum tum, but nothing special. It was just. What do you think, Mikey?
I agree with you. I think this was still a fun Rampage, but I also agree with the score of 3 out of 5 empanadas, given the fact that this was serviceable. Nothing too horrible, but nothing extraordinary. And, but I will say, though, I am super excited for next week's Rampage because they listened to us, apparently, because I've always wanted more lucha libre in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And that match we're getting a next Rampage against Rocky Romero and Místico of all people. I'm like,
wow, yeah, that's gonna be a good one. I'm excited. I like my lucha libre.
listen, me and Adolfo, like, there is a long history with Místico in the world of lucha libre, and like
Uh-huh.
when you hear that name, I'm just like, oh my gosh, we're actually getting this
Yeah,
on
so that's
television,
cool.
no less.
Yes. Excited. All right, so mis gentes, thank you again for joining us for this Rampage cleanup. I am Adolfo, the nerdy Puerto Rican.
And this has been the head honcho of the Biconics, Mikey, as always.
And until next time, hablamos luego.